How's it going, everyone? This is Byron the Dragon King, and I'm back with a brand new video. And today we're going to be talking about a fellow YouTuber who goes by the name Organized Chaos, and is also known as Robert. I'll probably bounce between the two names whenever I see fit, or for no specific reason at all. Now, the reason we're talking about Organized Chaos is he kind of just started blowing up my feed with a bunch of videos from a bunch of creators I watch. And while I was working my job at the warehouse I worked at, and I was filling up trailers, I needed something to listen to. So I'd put these videos on to listen to while I'm putting boxes down, and just making walls of boxes. And I gotta say, these are some of the worst fucking videos I've listened to in a while. And they're really poorly researched and made. And a lot of the points are just outright terrible. So I thought we would have a little fun here and go through a couple of the points. I'm not going to go through every single point as much as I'd love to, because honestly, I just think others have done it better. Speaking of those who've done it better, after the initial coverage I saw on EFAP, Every Frame a Pause, and on Rags's channel about Robert here, a different channel popped into my recommendations about Organized Chaos, and intrigued, I watched it, and it was by this Alistar Haken channel. I am so sorry if I mispronounced that, but he has a really great video that's almost 3 hours going over Robert and a lot of these bigger dramas he's been in the last, I want to say, year or so. And it's a really good watch. I highly recommend it. He does a really good job. And I figure if he's already, done the vast majority of the heavy lifting, and, I feel like I'd just be regurgitating his points, especially after I watched his video. And I'd rather just invite people to go watch his video. It's really well done, and I'd highly recommend it. In this video, for me, though, I'm going to focus on a few of his points that made me legitimately stop what I was doing at work, pause, and go, what the fuck crack is this man smoking? There's a lot of those points, including him saying that Obi-Wan Kenobi did not want Luke Skywalker to kill Darth Vader in the OT. That's something, but that's not what we're going on about. I feel like others have beat those horses into a fine pace. So let's get in on our first point here. Take it away, Robert.
He's barely said anything. Fuck.
Might want to freeze it again, dude. You might... No? No? Okay.
You can't let it take your power. Get to the book.
How do I get across?
Jump!
You should probably use your little floaty boots a little bit more, but that's fine. It's all good. So they make it through a...
Does he even have the floaty boots here? I don't remember. Did he show him? I might have looked down at chat while... Jesus Christ, this is all fucking nitpicks. Holy shit.
Jump here to the next platform, but the gosh darned Pastor Beast has decided to sit right in front of him. Lucky for Defender Strange, he's got that freeze move. Oh, he's not got that reaction time, huh? Well, he can use it now. Big fiery cheese boy might even fall off the platform while frozen, and that would buy you a great amount of time. I mean, you can throw rocks, yeah, but freezing would get you the book.
I mean, we don't know how his magic works. Maybe the freezing was a one-shot. We don't know.
Yes, Robert, we don't know how the freezing works, and they don't explain it. If it is a one-shot, literally a little line being like, oh, man, that's the only time I could use it. I'm all out of that. And then it breaks out, and then he's like, new plan, or something. But if he can continue to use it, why doesn't he continue to use it? Why didn't he, like Mauler said, use other spells in conjunction with the freeze spell to do more damage? And here I'd like to show a few examples of other forms of media who do something similar about using a spell over and over again, even if the pasta monster is going to break out each time. It shows that, if you just keep hitting it with something, maybe that'll work. Or seeing that using the same thing over and over again gets diminishing returns, and you need to think of something else. So here are my 3 examples. My first example is from Jujutsu Kaisen at around episode 18 or 19 of season 1, where Haname is coming in during the big tournament they're having, and Toge, Fushiguro, and Kamo, yeah. Kamo are trying to get away from it. The first thing they try to do is get people to help. They try to call Gojo or literally anyone, and the first thing Hanami does is break their phone. This comes up later on in the video because Mahler asks, how come Doctor Strange and Wong and all these characters, why aren't they asking for other superheroes in the Marvel Universe to come help them, since this is the MCU and a big theme and point of the whole thing is the interconnectivity and the crossovers and stuff. And if Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff, is so dangerous that she could destroy all of the multiverse, you'd probably want like the A-team there. This isn't like, oh, we'll send the little leagues, and well, it's not like in baseball in the last season you've already like clinched your spot in the postseason. You're like, we'll just call up some AAA guys to like play through the last couple weeks so our like main team can like rest up so they're at tip-top shape. No. We're dealing with the end of everything here, not just the end of the world, the end of everything, and they're not calling anyone. Back to the Jujutsu Kaisen reference, they then run away, and every time Haname's catching up, Toge uses his cursed speech to buy them time. And their plan and what they do is Toge will use his cursed speech to like freeze Haname in their tracks, and then Fushiguro and Kamo will attack Haname to try to, damage it. I was going to say her, but it's more of an it. And damage it since it can't defend. And they keep doing this, but each time they do this, you can see on Toge's face that it's putting a drain on him. Something you don't see in Doctor Strange. You don't see like each time he uses the freeze magic, his fingers are starting to get frostier and he's having harder time to close them. It's like his actual hands turning to ice. It's just that powerful of a spell because of how powerful of an opponent it is. It's hurting Doctor Strange, which is what we see in Jujutsu Kaisen, where literally Fushiguro, I believe, says even though Toge is using very weak words, he's not saying like kill, get crushed, explode, or anything like that. Some more powerfully charged words. Him using his cursed speech against Haname is really taking it out on him. And then the big point at the end is Haname is coming up and Toge like goes to use his cursed speech and he hits his limit and Haname knocks out Kamo, and then Toge gets up and decides to still push beyond his limits and use like a more powerful word to try to help his friends. And like you can see him, he's coughing up blood, he's like out of the fight, and even then he still doesn't like win against Haname. And you could do something like that for Doctor Strange, and I feel like the average moviegoer, if they see him using his ice spell over and over again, he's using it with other spells, and you can see like his fingers freezing, or like he's like shivering more, or something like that, or he says something, people would be like, oh wow, this is really taking it out on Doctor Strange. But that's always been my issue and a lot of people's issues with Doctor Strange and a lot of the magic users in the MCU is you don't get that feasibility of how powerful they are, what their limits are, what they can and can't do, if they have mana, if they have hard limits on spells. Like in this Doctor Strange movie, it's like he never uses the same spell twice because they want to be like, ooh, look how crazy this is, look how amazing, but they never, like, he never uses the same one twice, even if it would help him, and it just makes you go, what, he can do that?
Its appearance matches the report. Even from that guy's drawing, I recognize it.
Tuna with mayo.
You're right. Let's call Gojo and let him know. We should retreat and join Gojo.
Don't move!
Damn, it's really tough.
Here it comes! Stop it! Convergence! Piercing blood!
Did he wound it? So he was holding back when he fought me.
Hurry! Those wounds will heal quickly! Inumaki will stop it. We'll attack, and then we'll get away from it.
Inumaki will stop it for you. Attack it now!
Stop! He's the one hitting his limit first?
Inumaki wasn't even using powerful words, but it still destroyed his throat. This thing's just that much stronger. Don't, Inumaki. It's way too strong.
Blast away!
So my second example really has a lot to do with Doctor Strange 2, because they're trying to get to the Book of Ashanti in that scene, and they're trying to do whatever they can to get to that book so they can win the day. Spoilers, blah, blah, blah. It's the super magical book. It reminds me of something else, because this whole thing, we need the super magical MacGuffin, and there's this special plot device thing, and if the bad guy gets their hands a hold of it, it's the end of the world as we know it. And that thing is Mortal Kombat Deception, back when Mortal Kombat games had good story. And with that, it's what I'm referencing here is the intro animation for Deception, where it starts off and it's Raiden fighting Quan Chi and Shang Tsung, but once Big Daddy, Big Dick Onaga shows up, they have to put their smaller things aside to, like, jump my guy. And you see in here that they're doing their, like, most powerful attacks, and it's just having no effect on him. And Raiden realizes this. You can see this in his face, even if you didn't have Shujenko's, like, narration. You would have enough context clues with how his face is reacting and everything that you would be like, oh no, he's gonna do something else, something crazy. And yeah, that's what happens.
But it is said that there is only one true ruler of Outworld. And that ruler had returned. Onaga, former Emperor of Outworld, the Dragon King. The prophecy had been fulfilled. The Dragon King had indeed returned to Outworld to reclaim his army and impose his dominance. Death awaited all who stood in his way. And so it was that a new alliance was formed out of desperation. Sworn enemies joined forces to combat a greater threat. Raiden began to realize that even their combined might was not enough to defeat the Dragon King. There was was only one chance left. Raiden's sacrifice was in vain.
Alright, and for my final example, we're using Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And it's right at the climax where the T-1000's trying to trick John Connor into coming up to him because he's disguised as Sarah Connor so he can kill John Connor. And Sarah Connor comes in right at the last second with her shotgun and shoots him over and over and over again, even though individual shells have little to no effect on him. But she's trying to push him into the lava or the molten steel to defeat him. And she would have if, she was one shell missing or whatever, didn't have one more shell. And this is another very common thing. And this is another thing they could have done in the Doctor Strange thing, where he's using his spells, and then he goes to use another one, and nothing comes out, and he's just like, man, I've already reached my limit, I'm exhausted, and he like starts to collapse because he's just used so much magic. That I feel like, and then like that opening is what gives the spaghetti monster a chance to kill him. That would be more impactful than whatever the fuck we saw. Alright, and now we're ready for the second main point of Robert's video that I wanted to touch on. It's a bit more of an anecdotal evidence sort of deal because it's a bit personal, and I figured it'd be kind of funny, and it's not as, I don't know, it's not really like story related like the first one is, but I figured since as soon as I heard this, I knew I needed to talk about it. This is your warning. We're about to talk about taking a shit.
Just not knowing what to do with the script.
That sounds worse than The Rise of Skywalker.
What if your memory was like banging your fucking wife for the first time?
or taking a shit or something, or like having a wank, or you've actually...
How often do you spend your days thinking about taking a shit or having a wank?
Well, Robert, the thing about memories is you don't get to choose what you remember, and when there's a special magic bullshit machine that plucks a memory out of your head and plays it for the whole world to see, you don't really get to choose. So let's say it was a traumatic shit, or an important shit, or you got an important phone call, or you ran out of toilet paper that one time. You're going to remember that maybe. Who knows? There's some memories you have that you don't realize you have, and then one day you're just like, I just remembered that this happened. The whole point of memories is you remember this stuff because of one reason or another. It's not like thought where you're actively thinking about it. Memories sometimes can be intrusive and you don't want to remember them. That's how like PTSD works. Now for me personally, there are a couple of shits in my life that I'll always remember. The first one is when I found out I had this like weird condition where if I don't eat enough fiber and stuff, I'll have a very red shit, let's just say. And that's not really a fun time, and it was really stressful for me. I thought I was dying. I thought I had a medical issue. It took me going to the emergency room twice for me to figure out, no, I just need to eat better. The second one, and this is the second shit I'll always remember, it was about a year or so ago, and I was getting ready for work. It was when I delivered pizza, and I was like, oh, I should take a shit now, so that way I don't have to do that when I'm at work and get in the way of everything and slow everything down. Because you know how pizza is, it's go, 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 go. You want to get as many deliveries out and you want things to be get out fresh. So I take this shit and I feel like this weird pain in my back and I go, that was weird. And then I get to work and I'm like standing there and I'm just like, man, I'm in so much pain. It hurts to walk. It hurts to stand. And I go up to my manager, my GM, and I'm like, hey, I did something, and I think I pulled something in my back, and it hurts for me to physically stand. Can I go home? And she's like, yeah, of course, go home. I got home, and I laid down on the floor, and I couldn't get back up. And it only took like a week of icy hot every day, multiple times a day, before my back was fine. Because somehow I managed to pull a muscle or pinch a nerve or do something or tear something while taking that shit where I physically couldn't do anything. So, Robert, I will always remember those two shits. And personally, I don't want random strangers on the street in this hypothetical memory lane memory store to see that. So, I feel like since everyone's memories are different, everyone's lives are different, it's a real possibility that this sort of thing could happen. And to just be like, oh, that's ridiculous. Who thinks about that? Is just idiotic and stupid. Now, there's one more thing I want to touch on, and then we'll finish up this video, and it's kind of a joke. Well, Robert's a joke, but we'll see here in just 1 second.
Eric, I really want to know. Name some famous comic books that you've read.
No.
No?
No, this isn't going to be a quiz. Let's talk about myself and
Wait.
Yep, you saw it. He unironically did the, oh, so you're a blank fan? Name every single X. And earlier in the stream that I took this clip from that you can find on Chaos's channel is, like, he's like, oh, Eric, you're a comic fan? Tell me you've read Amazing Fantasy number 15, which, if you don't know, is the first comic that Spider-Man shows up in. And even if Eric hadn't seen that comic, that doesn't make him any less of a comic fan. Well, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Like I said, I'm posting the 2 and 45 minute long video about Robert here. I'm also going to be posting the episode of EFAT that I mentioned and Rags' big long video. So check those out if you want to know more about Robert. Like I said, I just wanted to poke a few holes in a couple of his points, and I thought this would be fun. So anyways, I've been Byron the Dragon King, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.